Well, today I'm going to be comparing the two weird crossover games. Well, once again, this is a copyright video, so you have been warned. Okay, so how Mortal Kombat vs. the DC Universe compared to Marvel vs. Capcom? Let's get this over with once again. Okay, Mortal Kombat vs. the DC Universe is my first Mortal Kombat game that I used to own. Well, I was going to get Mortal Kombat 9, but I was more interested with that game. But now these days, I wish I have gotten Mortal Kombat 9 instead, because I didn't enjoy this game like I used to, because it just gotten plain boring. The mechanic to the games just felt so lazy, and the combos are just simple, like it is literally all what your character is going to do, and the controlling buttons just made it confusing. When you move this circle thing up, well, you don't jump, you just move to the other side. Instead, you use this thing to jump. The pacing of this game is just too slow, and I didn't even have time to make my characters fight back. And the story mode playthrough is just so painful to play through. Like, I just couldn't breathe. Okay, as for Marvel vs. Capcom, well, I thought the gameplay and the pacing is better for me. You can actually move your characters much faster and create your own combo with your partners. Yes, that's right, Marvel vs. Capcom is a tag team battle kind of game, which that makes it more fun. Okay, well, personally, my favorite Marvel vs. Capcom game is the third one, because it has more characters and a free-on-free tag team that makes it more engaging. So yeah, Mortal Kombat vs. the DC Universe is nowhere near as engaging and fun as Marvel vs. Capcom. It was just so lazy in comparison. So, a crossover fighting game with the superior gameplay, without a doubt, is Marvel vs. Capcom. Okay, the fighters in the characters roster, we have Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Sonya, Shang Tsung, Katana, the Joker, Catwoman, The Flash, Superman, Batman, Jax, Liu Kang, Raiden, Kano, Baraka, Wonder Woman, Destro, Lex Luthor, Shazam. Well, actually, his name is Captain Marvel in this game, but I will refer to him as Shazam in this video, and Green Lantern. Okay, these characters in the games can be a bit exciting at times, but it is also pretty lazy. I mean, is that all of the characters that you're going to put in this game? Like, where's Johnny Cage, Kung Lao, Harley Quinn, Aquaman, and even Molina? These characters are popular in both of these franchises, but yet they did not put them in the games. That's literally all they have here. You know what, that's fine. At least Doomsday is not in it. Well, unlike Mortal Kombat vs. the DC Universe, Marvel vs. Capcom has a lot more characters, if you count how many games that they have. And the popular characters are even in it too. And you get to pick 2 characters, or 3, as a tag team. And that is so creative and a fun way to play the game. Well, playing Marvel vs. Capcom, well, it makes Mortal Kombat vs. the DC Universe so boring in comparison. So the game with the superior characters on the rosters is not surprisingly Marvel vs. Capcom. Yeah, I'm sorry guys, but Marvel vs. Capcom has a lot more creativity, while Mortal Kombat vs. DC does absolutely nothing, and even the fatalities are pretty held back. Like, they are not even violent at all, they just all come off as cartoony, and that is because it is a rated T game for teenagers to play, which that makes sense because that would be out of characters of the Justice League to be killing someone, so I don't blame them, I guess. Well, Marvel vs. Capcom won this round. Now let's move on to the story. Okay, well, Mortal Kombat vs. the DC Universe do, in fact, has a story mode. Well, Marvel vs. Capcom never had a story mode. Well, until the 4th game, they do. The 4th game is the Marvel vs. Capcom game that I owned. Well, the story in Mortal Kombat vs. the DC Universe, the two worlds had a rivalry. In Marvel vs. Capcom, on the other hand, well, they don't have a rivalry at all. The Capcom players and the Marvel heroes were just teaming up against the big bad. Okay, well, I love that idea of Capcom and Marvel working together, but they never show how they were together. They just start off the story mode with them fighting Ultron's Sigmund army, and they never show an origin story of how they were together, and it leaves me kind of confused. Well, unlike Marvel vs. Capcom, Mortal Kombat vs. DC shows an origin story of how they cross over, and this is something that I wish they did with Marvel vs. Capcom story, but there's something about the story mode that doesn't make sense. Like, how the hell Liu Kang was able to defeat the Flash in a one-on-one fight? I mean, he's supposed to be the fastest man alive, and how Batman, of all people, was able to defeat Liu Kang. I know he has strategies and all, but I don't think his prep times or gadgets is enough to defeat the Mortal Kombat champion, and he can even beat Raiden, which that makes no sense either. And then things just got even more complicated when Superman gets defeated by Scorpion, and there's no way in hell that Sub-Zero can beat Deathstroke. Okay, I get it is a video game and all, but something about the character defeating the other character that is much superior than them, that is just rubbing the comic book fans in the wrong way. So I don't buy this logic. And plus, Raiden was pretty out of character in this game. Like, he would never get enraged and attack Batman just to get Liu Kang back, and they pretty much wasted him too when he made him fight Liu Kang, just like they made Raiden and Liu Kang fight in Mortal Kombat 9, and they just end up killing him off for no reason.
By the gods, no! No. This was not meant to happen. What did you do? Liu Kang, forgive me. You have killed us.
Then they made them fight again in Mortal Kombat 11, but this time nobody gets killed, and oh my gosh, that makes free Liu Kang vs. Raiden fight in Mortal Kombat games. Like, I don't know what's up with that. Well, I am happy that Liu Kang didn't die, but still. Okay, in case that you are wondering who won between Mortal Kombat vs. DC, well, the thing is, nobody wins at the end of the story mode. Like, they never explain who won. They just end up working together to stop the final boss, which we will talk about on the next round. So, do I think that the story mode in Mortal Kombat vs. the DC Universe is mediocre? Well, to be honest with you, I think both of the story in both of these games are mediocre, but the difference is that the playthrough of the story mode is just frustrating, and I just lost a lot of fights for how slow it is. So, I rather play through the story mode in Marvel vs. Capcom. Okay, the movie with the superior story mode is Marvel vs. Capcom. Okay, the final boss in Mortal Kombat vs. the DC Universe is Dark Khan, and he is such a boring villain. Okay, well sure, he used mind control stuff, which is called the Rage, to make the two worlds fight each other, but he does not have a actual motivation, and he has less screen time. Well, even Raiden and Superman work together to fight Dark Khan. Well, you have to pick one character out of time to fight him, instead of playing as both of them. Yike, the final boss at the story could have been fun that way, with a tag team. Oh yeah, I forgot. Tag team is just more yike Marvel vs. Capcom thing, I guess. Well, the final boss in Marvel vs. Capcom is Ultron Ositma, and I thought he is so much better than Dark Khan. He has a slightly better motivation, he is powerful, and he is pretty much a threat to the heroes. And at the end of the story, he used up his final form and transformed into Ultron Omega, and he is the hardest boss in the game. Yikes, seriously, no one in my family wasn't able to defeat Ultron Omega. But after working hard, I was able to defeat him, and it was satisfying. Well, the story mode in Marvel vs. Capcom is not that great, but I was impressed what they did with the villains. Galactus is also the final boss in the Dirt game, and that is pretty cool too. Okay, a crossover fighting game with the superior boss is Marvel vs. Capcom all the way. Yeah, there's nothing to say about Mortal Kombat vs. DC. They got nothing to put on the table, and they especially wasted both of these villains from both of these different franchises. Like, they just got defeated earlier and then come back at the end just to get punished. And that is such a disrespectful way to use these characters. Shao Kahn and Darkseid are playable in Mortal Kombat vs. the DC Universe, but they have nothing to do with the story. Well, the combos are just basic, and the super move stuff just felt lazy and unexpired. Well, there's a one-triggered move that is called the Rage, and even you fight back on it, it won't be effective. And I thought that was just pretty lame. Well, Marvel vs. Capcom used create activity with their comic book character and their video game characters. Like, all of these characters in the games each have their own theme songs. Well, the characters never had their own theme song in Mortal Kombat vs. DC, so that makes it so boring to play in comparison. So yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys saw that coming. And Marvel vs. Capcom has way better super move too, so it's another point for Marvel vs. Capcom. Well, I'm about to say it. Mortal Kombat vs. the DC Universe is not fun at all. Well, at least what I realize. Most people said it is a bad game, which I agree. The story mode is actually stupid. The gameplay was just executed so boring. Yike, let's be for real, guys. This game has no create activity, but Marvel vs. Capcom do. You can create your own combos with your tag team partners and everything. Yike, Marvel vs. Capcom is yike the new Super Smash for me. And plus, this game has more sequels, and that's how I know how iconic it is. Well, for how much that I like crossovers, I don't think it's going to be a sequel for Mortal Kombat vs. DC. Well, even is going to be, then Mortal Kombat would not make another crossover game like that again, because this game is freaking rated M for mature, and Mortal Kombat is supposed to be a mature rated game. So even they made a crossover game with the DC characters, then they will have to make it rated T, which it is not going to happen because the bloody fatality stuff will always be there for the franchise. So there's no way they're going to make a T-rated game ever again, even they wanted to. So yeah, I don't think they're going to make a sequel, like ever. Even they did, then I won't be interested unless they're going to be creative about it this time. Marvel vs. Capcom is way better by miles. It is my favorite video game and one of my favorite crossovers, and I highly recommend playing it more than Mortal Kombat vs. DC. Okay, although the story mode is pretty mid, but outside of the not-so-good story, the gameplay, the creativity by themselves, it was overall a good time to play with your friends and family. So yeah, Mortal Kombat vs. the DC Universe gets a pathetic 1 out of 10, and Marvel vs. Capcom gets an excellent 10 out of 10. Well, if you want to count the story mode, then it is an 8 out of 10 then. Okay, now that I got this out of my chest, I'm just going to forget that the Mortal Kombat and DC crossover never happens, and just stick with Marvel vs. Capcom, like always. And plus, the Mortal Kombat and DC crossover should not exist either, and that is another negative stuff what this game had. So, what do you guys think of these two crossovers? Well, don't forget to like and subscribe, and just actually subscribe, because I saw that most of you guys are not subscribed in my old channel. Well, if you prefer Mortal Kombat vs. DC, then that's totally fine. I'm not going to hate you or anything. Everyone has their own opinion, and you're entitled to it, and I'm entitled to mine. But I hated this game though, and because of the fact this game is rated T, it is less violent. Like, out of all of the Mortal Kombat games that I have played, that one was the least adult, and that is embarrassing. Well, anyway, I hope that you have a good day, and I will see you guys next time.